Continuing to look at Lithuania's defense situation, I think it's time to look at NATO's VJTF, or Very High Readiness Joint Task Force.
Very High Readiness Joint Task Force.
NATO's spearhead force.
Designed to react to a crisis situation
at short notice.
At the moment, British units are assigned to the VJTF, and so there's very little direct Lithuanian involvement in the force. However, since it's this force that would be among the first to come to this country's support in the event of an invasion, it's something worth looking at on this Lithuania-themed YouTube channel. And one last note before jumping into things, just a little reminder that I've set up a completely different YouTube channel to host videos covering lighter topics of Lithuanian life. I thought separating the heavy military and geopolitical stuff from the more day-to-day cultural stuff was the best thing to do. Okay, moving on. Like most of the special units and alliances that we've discussed in previous videos, the VJTF is the result of the actions of Russian forces. In this case, the Very High Readiness Joint Task Force, VJTF, was set up in 2014 as a quote-unquote spearhead force within the NATO Response Force, or NRF. As explained by the UK's Ministry of Defence, the VJTF was created after Russia's illegal annexation of Crimea in 2014, and it deployed for the first time for the collective defence of the alliance after Russia's full-fledged invasion of Ukraine in 2022.
The idea behind the VJTF is to have an international task force of 5,000 troops ready to deploy within a few days in a crisis situation, such as an invasion of a NATO member state.
A NATO webpage says that VJTF includes a multinational land brigade of about 5,000 to 6,000 troops and air, maritime, and special operation force components. And so, in the event of any attack on a NATO ally, leading elements of the VJTF are ready to move within 48 to 72 hours. The VJTF and initial follow-on forces are based in their home countries, but are able to deploy wherever they are needed for exercises, crisis response, or collective defense. According to NATO, leadership of the VJTF rotates on an annual basis, with one ally designated as the lead country and other allies participating. And so what is the status of the VJTF right now? Well, I'm making this video between May and June 2024. This means that it's the United Kingdom leading and supplying the core forces to the VJTF. This role was assumed on January 1st, 2024 and will last the whole year. The previous year, 2023, it was Germany assigned as the lead VJTF nation, or more specifically, the Bundeswehr's 37 Armored Infantry Brigade. The year before that, in 2022, a Franco-German brigade of 3,500 troops, along with contributions from Spain, Portugal, and Poland. For the UK this year, it's the 7th Light Mechanized Brigade Combat Team, nicknamed the Desert Rats, and these will be the core for the 2024 VJTF. I'll list all of the brigade's subunits here, but I won't read them all out, so you can pause this video if you want to look at them all. Joining British troops are Poland's 1st Warsaw Armored Brigade and Spain's Brigada Guzman el Bueno. Both of these units will provide heavy battle tanks, attack helicopters, and air defenses. In total, 9 NATO allies are providing forces for VJTF 2024. The first major exercise for the 2024 VJTF was Exercise Steadfast Defender in February, NATO's largest set of military maneuvers since the height of the Cold War. It seems like a major exercise is conducted around the first few months of each calendar year, and I guess this is a way to make sure that all the VJTF subunits and countries know how to properly deploy and work with each other. Watching videos of various previous VJTF exercises, it's clear that logistics is super important in getting so many soldiers and pieces of equipment to the area of operations. Well, I guess as Major General John Pershing said, soldiers win battles, logistics win wars.
British travel in groups of 20 vehicles, known as packets, and must work with both civilian and military authorities in all 3 countries to ensure that the movement is as smooth and quick as possible. Like the British, the Polish have had to overcome logistical challenges to deploy their armoured vehicles and heavy equipment by rail over 4 days to arrive on time in Romania.
Commenting on his unit's capabilities, Brigadier General Guy Foden, commander of the 7th Light Mechanized Brigade Combat Team, said, "With a significant quantity of main battle tanks, attack helicopters, infantry, artillery, air defense, drone capability, engineers, and logistics, the brigade is a formidable fighting machine. It is the most powerful brigade I have seen in my 25 years in the Army." Like I said, Lithuania currently isn't part of the VJTF. Now, it has contributed troops to the NRF in the past. According to its defense ministry, Lithuania has been contributing to the NRF since 2005. In 2019-2020, Lithuania was contributing a company-sized infantry unit, and in 2021, Lithuania sent as many as 200 military and civilian personnel, and increased this to about 300 the following year. With Lithuania being on the eastern flank of NATO territory, there's, I guess, a higher probability the VJTF would be deployed to this part of the world. Well, compared to, let's say, Spain. As a result, Lithuania has created infrastructure that would accommodate the VJTF in such a scenario. On September 7th, 2023, the General Silvestros Žukauskas training ground in Pabrade was presented to the media. The Lithuanian government wanted to show off the infrastructure development project, which was set up to meet the needs of the VJTF. As reported by Made in Vilnius, the construction works are aimed at creating the infrastructure needed to host the VJTF and, quote, ensure the right conditions for a faster, more efficient, and more convenient deployment of allies in Lithuania. After completing this project, it's claimed that the Žukauskas training ground will become one of the most modern in the Baltic states and will be able to accommodate 2,500 soldiers. There have also been amendments to Lithuanian laws to create conditions for the quick arrival of allies. The deadline for permits to enter Lithuania for military units and cargo is 3 to 5 working days. And in the event of a threat, NATO Rapid Response Forces can enter Lithuania within 24 hours. A total of 13 structures are part of the project and include barracks, canteen, training and recreation areas, storage, technical repair buildings, helipads, dog kennels, as well as the construction of military campus roads and engineering networks. Construction is expected to be completed by the end of 2025. The project is financed by NATO and the Ministry of National Defense of Lithuania. So what's my take on all this? Well, I think one of the key talking points within the Russian troll playbook is to always cast doubt and uncertainty regarding a NATO response, should anything happen to Lithuania. They also tend to highlight how Lithuania's military is tiny compared to Russian forces. Well, they're certainly right on the last point, but the more I look into the structures set up to deter Russia, the clearer it is to me that there certainly is a plan for NATO forces to respond swiftly. Whether it's an invasion of the Baltic nations, Finland, Sweden, Poland, or Romania. But I think the big question for me with regards to the VJTF is, for an enemy invasion, how much progress or damage would there be in 48 hours while the VJTF is on its way? Well, I'm no military strategist, so I'm pretty reluctant to try and answer that. But I suppose the VJTF would be deployed before the actual invasion. Because if we saw Russian or Belarusian units moving towards and amassing near the border, like we did with Ukraine, I'm pretty sure NATO forces like the VJTF would already be planning their moves and getting ready for what comes next.
Is an invasion actually going to happen? Because remember, Russia denies that it has any plans to invade. It's America and its allies that are saying, you know, there are indications that this is going to happen. And if you're not going to invade, then maybe you should explain to us why you've got 100,000 troops along the border.
But what do you think of the idea of the VJTF as a response unit? Let me know what you think by leaving a comment. If you enjoy this channel and want to support me in making more videos, please consider becoming a Patreon patron. There's a link down in the description for you to check out. Thanks so much for watching.